Welcome back to Medrash U'Maaseh, sharing a story for this week's Parshas Tetzaveh. This is a story which was told by Rav Gamliel Rabinovitz, and he heard it from the great Dayan in Yerushalayim, Rav Chaim Ori Freind. It's a story about Rabbi Akiva Eiger, the great Rav of Posen, the great Mefarish of Shas and Shulchan Aruch. He was traveling, and suddenly, due to some complication, he realized that he was going to have to stop for Shabbos in the city of Nikolsburg. He had made no plans beforehand, and he arrived on Erev Shabbos. Now, the Rav of the city, Rav Mordechai Banet, was someone he knew and respected, and perhaps because of that, he didn't want to let anyone know he was there. If the Rav would know he was there, suddenly he would feel he had to host him and make all sorts of arrangements, and this would put a burden on the Rav, on his family, on the community. So he went to a little Jewish inn and got a room. The innkeeper welcomed him, asked him who he was, where he came from. He says, I'm a Melamed from Posen. I teach in the Cheder in Posen. So he settled down in the inn and then decided to make sure about the food. He asked the innkeeper, he said, tell me, who shechts the chickens that you serve here on Shabbos? The innkeeper said, I do. So Rabbi Akiva Eiger said, would you mind if I examine your chalif, the knife used for shechita? The man said, no problem. He went into the kitchen and came out with a serrated challah knife, which would make anything shechted treif. Rabbi Akiva Eiger was now in a dilemma. He saw that people who were going to eat in this innkeeper's home were going to be eating treif chickens. He had to do something. At this point, he realized he had to go speak with the Rav of the city. He walked over to the house of Rav Mordechai Banet, who was astounded to see Rabbi Akiva Eiger walk in on a Friday. He welcomed him. They spoke. And then Rabbi Akiva Eiger said, I need to speak with you privately. So Rav Mordechai Banet sent out everybody from the room, and Rabbi Akiva Eiger told him what happened in this inn. So Rav Mordechai Banet said, I know the innkeeper, he's a fine Jew, he's certainly not a shochet, I don't understand this. He summoned the innkeeper who came in, and he said, tell me, who shechts the chickens that you serve in your inn? He said, the local shochet, who's under your supervision, Rav. He said, then why did you tell my esteemed visitor that you were a shochet? He says, if he can tell me that he's a cheder Rebbe in Posen, I can tell him that I'm a shochet. He knew very well who Rabbi Akiva Eiger was, and he did not want to let Rabbi Akiva Eiger spend a Shabbos incognito. He felt that the Rav would be upset if he heard that such an esteemed visitor was in town without his knowing, that the people in the town wouldn't benefit from being able to hear Divrei Torah from Rabbi Akiva Eiger. So now that it was all out, the news went around, and preparations were made. Rav Mordechai Banet asked him to please join him for the Shabbos Seudas, and Rabbi Akiva Eiger gave out the Mare Makomos, the source material for the great shir which he was going to give Shabbos afternoon. Shabbos afternoon, the great shul was packed, and people asked questions on the shir. Towards the end of the shir, which was brilliant and difficult, Rav Mordechai Banet asked a question. Rabbi Akiva Eiger paused, and he said, that's a very difficult question. I'm going to have to look into it. He finished off the shir with some divrei Torah about the Parsha, and they went to sit down in Shalosh Shudas. After they had washed and made hamotzi, Rabbi Akiva Eiger leaned over to Rav Mordechai Banet and he said, so the answer to your question is very simple. And he provided a brilliant answer. Rav Mordechai Banet said, so why didn't you answer that during the shir? He says, what do I need to have people think that I'm a great Talmud Chacham? Here I had an opportunity to let them realize how great their Rav is and what questions he could ask. I couldn't give up that opportunity. Here we see Tzadikim who try to utilize anonymity, subterfuge, or perhaps we could already call it in the honor of Purim, costumes, but all l'shem shamayim, all to bring honor to others and all to bring Torah and goodness and light to Am Yisrael. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos.